Okay, it's Friday, Friday 21st of July, right at the start of the summer holiday. Mrs. has taken the children to Ibiza for the week. They were going to go to Pembrokeshire. It got cancelled at the last minute and they found a last minute deal to Ibiza. Perfect. She feels guilty. I said, oh, don't worry about it, love. And I'm going to come fishing. So superb situation. Bonus trip, this one. Okay, come to a lake, never been here before. Looks very nice. Can't find any carp anglers at the moment. Sun is just on its way down over there, so time is tight. I want to get the car off site, so yeah, we're gonna basically get onto the water and then look for carp at first light. But let's just get everything done and get the car safe before we start fishing. So it's a mad rush. We've probably got about 45 minutes of light left, which will be just enough time to get the boat onto the water, but it won't be enough time to get the car off site and find any spots. So yeah, we're realistically looking at tomorrow morning, but it looks beautiful down here and we've got a nice evening, no rain in front of us for at least for the next few hours, so all good. You're gonna keep watch of my car. Keep watching my car for me. You're gonna keep watch of my car. Okay, it's Saturday morning. Basically, I got over here at about 9 p.m. last night. I took the car back to the local village, parked it in public parking, and then I've walked it back probably about 40 minutes back to this back to the boat that was over the other side, and then I've boated over. We're on a lake of about 100 acres. I don't know, it's difficult to tell exactly how big it is, but I'm guessing it's about 100. It's quite long. Basically, I've spent all my spring fishing gravel pits like this with white stones, and this is exactly the same but smaller. And that tends to mean, as a rule of thumb, it might be nighttime action, don't know. And I don't know how many carp there are in here either. I've got my left hand rod up the margin in 3 meters of water. I've got these two. Basically it goes down into about 8.5 to 9 meters. It comes up to 6 and then it's muddy, but it's not a stinky mud. And I've got both of those rods on the 6 meter kind of plateau, whatever it is. And then I've just got one in 9 meters there, so I'm focusing all on the left hand side of the swim at the moment. Like I said, 2 possible carp in the night, but can't guarantee it. And so yeah, by 1 o'clock, 1:30 maybe, I had all the rods out. I'm fishing strictly tiger nuts on all rods because I know there are catfish in here. And I did actually put a Ronnie claw on with a 14mm pop-up over the top of the tigers. I'm not putting any boilies in, and I got a take at 4 o'clock and it was about a 50-pound cat on the pop-up over the tiger nuts. So from now on it's strictly tigers and Brazil nuts on all rods. I do still have a pop-up on that left-hand margin rod with a couple of tigers underneath it, but I've got Brazil nuts and tiger nuts on the other rods. I would have liked to have seen something, to be honest. I've been all the way up that end. Well, I've walked up a couple of 100 meters and back just to see if I can see anything showing. No sign of anything. I do not know much about the stock on here at all. Other than that it started to produce some good fish. That's all I know. Rumours of a couple of real big ones, but I've not seen any pictures or anything like that. Yeah, so it's going to be hot, and quite still for the next 48 hours, and then we're going to get a bit of a southerly pushing up this way. Now, I've got stuff sprawled everywhere. I do not know whether it's worth putting the hide up and getting everything sorted out. It probably is, but you know, you always want to move on to fish. If they're moving down the other end, then I want to be moving on them quite quickly, so I don't necessarily want to be sorting it all out. Having said that, we're on a Saturday, and tonight there's a rave up the other end of the lake from 9 p.m. through to 1 a.m. So there's going to be all sorts of people about tonight, and there's going to be real loud music, so there's a chance it will push the fish up this end. I don't know. There's a chance of it. So maybe we want to stay and see tomorrow morning whether or not the fish have moved up this way after tonight's camaraderie. When you're on a summer trip like this, I didn't really want to be in a position like this whereby I don't know if I'm on fish or not and there's nothing showing. I did want to be fishing places where the fish jump and you can find them. I just do not know anything about this, but if you don't try these new places, then you're always going to do the same sort of thing. You've got to try and figure it out for yourself sometimes. So yeah, you never know. You just never know what might, you know, this place is definitely off radar to most people. So there's always the chance that it can chuck up a massive fish. Yeah, I think I'm going to put the kettle on. Over and out. Okay, I'm going to put a bait. I've snorkeled this. I'm going to put a bait just off this Potamogeton that's clipping the surface here. I think it's Potamogeton anyway. The spot is in line with that dead branch there of that willow tree. Let's pray that the sun doesn't come through as we drop this. Oh, that's good. That's gone down very nice. Quick check. Okay, lovely. Directly behind my swim there was a small murky lake that warranted an inspection. The lake was connected to the main lake by a shallow weeded up channel, which I'm sure at the right time of year would be deep enough for carp to pass between the lakes. I had no idea if the lake held any carp at all, but surely this was worth a rod or two. A couple of chucks with a bare lead revealed a lovely clean 6 to 8 foot bottom, so I grabbed a bucket of Scopex squid boilies and sprayed a couple of kilos across the area. Time would tell if I was wasting my time. Okay, I'm not even sure if you're going to be able to hear me there. It's hardly peaceful down here. I knew it midsummer weekend. I'm in a small village, but for whatever reason everyone congregates to the local lake on weekends when the weather's nice. And we've got the rave starting in about half an hour's time up the other end of the lake, but yeah, it's not peaceful at all. I'm not massively happy with the situation. No sign of any carp, swimmers, music, everything you don't want when you go fishing. is flipping everywhere. We are in the middle of nowhere here, which surprises me just why there's so many people. But yeah, absolutely no confidence until tomorrow morning now. The commotion on the lake today has been unbelievable. There's a swimmer going near my line now. You wait all evening to get your rods out, and then swimmers go near your line. Let's move that out of the way. Okay, it's about 7:30 Sunday morning. I went out, I placed a couple of baits. There's one tight up to my right in about 2 metres of water just off the Potamogeton, and likewise on the one down the far left, found a little patch of pebbles that big in amongst hell of a lot of onion weed. I've placed the bait on the little patch of stones, put a couple of handfuls of tigers over it. We've got a group of anglers opposite. They're about to go out in their little pike boats. They're going to screw it up. So realistically, if they go out in those pike boats, this morning feeding spell, before it gets blisteringly hot, is going to be ruined on those two rods, but these two are okay. I didn't get a beep during the night, and I've not seen anything. I've been up for about an hour or so. I've not actually seen anything, any carp anyway. Oh, he's gone out in the boat. If he goes right out in the middle over my lines, that might be the call to move down the other end of the lake. But yeah, not ideal, but it's a Sunday morning, what the hell do I expect? I had every intention of fishing some well-known circuit waters for this trip. You know, catching some carp, getting some action. But this certainly isn't that sort of place. And now I'm on here, I feel like I've got to actually try and catch one out of it. Big fish. Okay, so, I hate kneeling on gravel, but anyway, we're not going to put the waders on. So, it's about lunchtime, maybe just before, the wind's picked up, and out of nowhere, just when I thought I should be down the other end of the lake, even though the wind is coming this way, out of nowhere, one of the rods on 6 meters just over mud, so the lead is plugging into the silt, but that's fine for me. I'm not looking for rock hard bottoms. And a couple of tigers popped up with a bit of corn, size 5 claw, 8-ounce lead, and got a carp. We've got an absolute beauty. Ounces under 50 pounds. We'll call it 49.5 for cash, but it was bouncing anywhere between 50 and 49.5. Absolute mint condition, beautiful mirror. Let's just hold you up. There you are. We're not going to let you go. We want a nice photo, a nice bit of video, should I say. What a beautiful, you've got to love gravel pit carp from clear water with these sorts of colours on them. Absolute beauty. And now we've had one, we've got something to go on, which is the most important thing. What a magnificent carp. Let's turn you over. Not a mark in the mouth, real clean fish. You'll see from the fight, it's very difficult in the wind, when the wind is charging down that direction. I've been working on my arms and my upper arms with the old dumbbells at home. I've still got some sort of ligament issue on this side, but strength is back up after a couple of months of bicep curls and the ones above your head and all that sort of stuff. It's a thick fish, isn't it? For this time of year, mid to late July. Yeah, I've seen a few crays in the margin, so that will form part of their diet, and as usual it's the round molluscs that I think is the bulk of their diet. Excellent, right. I think that'll do one. No petit. Okay, there aren't just big fish in here. We've got a little back lake here basically. It's connected to the main lake. I've put a couple of kilos of scopex squid in 20 mil in here with the catapult and the stick last night. Spread it out over a big area, at least the size of a tennis court. And I've put a couple of rods on it. And I lost a fish on it earlier. And I was thinking I'd lost a big one, but there are obviously some small ones in here. And don't get all wet. We've got a little common of about £6. There we are. Lovely. Pop you back. So you never know. There might be some bigger ones in here. Yeah, lovely, lovely. Just scattered another 30 baits out over it. Chuck the rod back out. We'll see what happens. Over now. Okay, it's lunchtime. Lunchtime Monday. It's like a mill pond out there. It's so still, but we have got one major thunderstorm on its way over. That is a proper thunderstorm. I reckon it's going to be here within the next 20 minutes, half an hour. Yeah, this is about take time yesterday, but obviously the wind was absolutely pelting in here. It's dead still. Rods have been in situ well over 24 hours now. Well, the one that had the take's been in play 24 hours. The other ones have been in play 36 to 48 hours. I've left it lovely and still over there. They haven't had anything up to my right. At least I haven't seen them have anything. That's all to report, to be honest with you. I'm keeping this area completely free of lines in any fish coming this way. It's only 100 yards across there. I don't want to cut them off. Let's keep that completely free of lines and just have, the idea is you've just got the lines into what we would hope to consider to be the holding area, and this being kind of the travel through area. That'll do. Over and out for now. That's a good size one, isn't it? Excellent. That is good. Wow. Okay. You never know what you might catch when you come to these lakes that aren't anywhere near as heavily fished. This has come out of this little back lake. It's full of potamogeton. I've got absolutely no idea. First we lose one, then we have a £6 common, And now we've got this real old wrinkly £37 mirror. Look at that. Let's just put you on there. Look at that. What a fabulous mirror that is. Old wrinkly tummy. Big mouth on it. Superb. Let's just show you the front end. It's got a very big mouth, this one, unlike the big one that we had. Absolutely superb. This is where I put 2 kilos of Scopex squid in, 20 mil, with the stick yesterday. 3 takes on it this morning. What does that tell us? I think we're onto something. There we are. Right, let's just quickly turn you around. Excellent. Thank you very much. Right, let's get you back, see if we can get your daddy or your mummy. Okay, update. It's 8:30 Monday evening. I'm just in a waterproof and a pair of undies. I won't pleasure you with lowering the camera any further. That's certainly not to be put on camera. We've got major storms. It's ever so still today. Stormy and the odd gust of wind, but really you want a bit of wind at this time of year, I think. Still got the chaps. Let's see if I can you might just be able to make them out. They're only bloody 150 metres away. They've got the whole lake and they've decided to come close. So yeah, they haven't had anything. But yeah, ever so still on this side. Very little to report. I think I don't have much confidence on this side. I think the other side is where I'm going to start continuing to catch, on the boilie side. We've got tiger nut side and boilie side. Boilies are winning today. And I think they'll continue to win. If there are no catfish on that side, I have seen some poisson shad, but they don't seem to be attacking the boilies. I've got a lovely spread of 20 mil Scopex squid. I much prefer that type of fishing to tiger nuts, but yeah. Right, over and out. I will see you in the morning. Okay, wind has picked up. It's looking good. Just some small comments to report on the other side. But yeah, this looks good. Okay, so right on take time at around 11, with the wind coming up this way, you can probably see it lapping at my chest. One of the rods has gone, and we've got a scraper 30, real long fish. It's got a little bit of a disease going on. Hopefully nothing too serious, but it's got patches all over it of, yeah, not ideal. But anyway, it's a lovely fish. Let's see if we can, a very long, thin one, probably a male. And they're possibly spawning marks. There she is. Beautiful. So I see one roll down there. It was a much rounder fish, but probably similar sort of size to this one. Half an hour before the rod went, but so there must be a few down there. It's difficult to know. It's difficult to gauge the stock in here. It's midsummer. Conditions are good now, but I don't think I'm making the most of it, if you know what I mean. First time on the lake. You know what? This fish does not want to be picked up. Fish, isn't it? It's not bad fish at all. Okay, wind's hacking it across. We've got a very old, common, 45 pounds, so over 20 kilo. I don't want to get him out of the water. She's got a big soft tummy, and it wouldn't be right to lift such a fragile fish out onto this stony bank, even if he's on an unhooking mat. So we're going to do this all in the water, but magnificent fish. Let me just move that out the way. Hang on a minute. So I just redid the rod. So I've been out since midnight when I had the last fish. Nothing. Wound them in, redid them, and I've had this straight away. Let's just try this side. Yeah, this back leg. My God, have we dropped on somewhere pretty special? No marks in the mouth. Don't know if they've ever been caught. going just yet, my friend. Not a mark in the mouth, what a beauty. Thank you so much. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Okay. Yes. Major storm just hitting. Well, I say major, we've got a storm hitting. Absolutely biblical out there. Biblical. Okay, we're going to try this. It's midsummer. Don't really want to be sacking carp. So let's just do a quick bit of video of this at night. There we are. No, it's probably about 33. There's all the fighting on the blooming mat. There we are. There we are. Flipping heck. Ouch. Okay, that looks about right. Okay, it's Wednesday morning. I think there's more tiger nut in here than there is carp. This fish personally produces tiger nut slush. Okay, this fish came. Look at that, what a fish. Another amazing fish, very similar to the previous one. This one went 47 to 48-ish. There's nothing to its tummy. Its shoulders are ginormous. Again, it'll be a 50. I think this will be a 50 in the autumn time. Midsummer. Doesn't feel like midsummer. My goodness me, what a beautiful fish. Okay. There we are. It's got such big fins. Barely hold her in. Didn't fight that well. They haven't fought brilliantly, but my goodness me, what an unbelievable fish. Does look similar to the other one, my goodness. To double check that. They're either like peas in a pod or this is the same one and it's dropped a bit of weight, but I can't believe it would drop 2 pounds in weight. No, it's definitely a different fish. It's got these starbursts on it and the other one didn't have this mark on its head. I would have noticed that. Massive tail, absolutely massive tail on it. Wonderful. You come so prepared for these trips. One thing I wasn't prepared for was how blooming cold and wet it was going to be for a few days and how little clothing. And I'm not the sort of angler that worries about getting stuff on when they're charging for a take. I want to catch the fish, so everything gets wet, and when you catch big fish like this, you don't really care. Okay, so invariably your opening gambit on these trips evolves as you go through your session, and if it doesn't, then you've got it spot on first time, or you're not thinking hard enough. I do a lot of summer trips or warm weather trips these days, really to suit family life, and very often is the case that I go to places where the nuisance species are abundant. We're talking about poisson chat, crayfish, bream, roach, tench, crucian carp. You name it, they're active in the warmer months, and they invariably cause you problems. Not here. It's one of the first places that I've been where I haven't experienced any trouble. I've had a big catfish, which I would call a nuisance species, but apart from that, I've not had any major problems. I have seen crayfish and I have seen a poisson chat while snorkeling, but they haven't caused any problems. So this is not necessarily what you would go in with. Added to that, these carp have got smaller mouths than I'd expect. They've not got the thickness of the lips of gravel pit carp on various other places that I've fished in recent years. So everything changes. I've basically, and also where I've been hooking them. I started off with, let's get the shadow out. I started off with sort of slightly longer rigs, and I'm hooking them on the outside, not on the outside, but close to the lips. And some people will say, well, you need to lengthen it. I actually think on sort of 10-inch hook links with tiger nuts, that's too long, and I'm dropping back to what I've used before, which is between 6 and 8 inches, because remember, they're not moving about and picking up a boilie, they're moving on to the next spot. They're feeding with their mouths pretty close to the bottom. So we've ended up, we've got a smaller hook. Everyone's got different opinions on hooks. Using Nash hooks now for the last 2 years, I can comfortably say that my favourite two patterns are either the Claw or the Fang X. The Claw in a size 5 or a 6. I won't go any smaller than a size 6, and I'm reluctant to go bigger than a size 5. I think the gape is too wide to get maximum penetration. So a size 5 or a 6, or on this venue, judging by what I've seen and what I've experienced, I'm actually preferring to go onto the Fang X in a 4 or a 5. I won't go any smaller than a 5, and I'm reluctant to go any bigger than a 4. So we've basically got, again, I'm preferring, now I've had a good few trips using the skin link and the armor link, I am actually preferring the suppleness of the armor link. And I've got armor link, I've got about 8 inches of armor link there in 25 pound. We've got it slip D style with a size 5 Fang X, 2 large tiger nuts and a bit of cork, just so that will hold that up like that. And as that sucks into the mouth, you can see that the hook is facing downwards and liable to hook in the bottom lip. Again, that's quite a big bait for tiger nuts. They're 2 very big tigers there. You could probably get away with a single tiger nut and something else over the top, because we're not getting any trouble from bream or roach eating tigers. So that is fished on a leg clip system with either a 6 or an 8 ounce lead. Again, I'm actually preferring the 8 ounce lead to ensure ejection and to ensure penetration. And also you've got 5 mil of slip D there. The rest is neatened up with a piece of shrink tube. I don't want a kicker on there. There's plenty of curvature in the Fang X anyway. I do not want any more than that. It's just a piece of shrink tube there, just to tidy everything up and basically extend the length of the shank to make it more like a long shank hook. I don't want that armor link coming out of the eye without sort of 3 to 5 mil of shrink tube over the top there, because that armour link arguably is getting in the way of that point to an extent, unless you extend it out there. It kind of makes, you know, the armour link starts coming back towards the point, which is not what I want. So the shrink tube is a really important aspect for me, and the 5 mil of movement on the slip D is there because if you go any higher than any more than 5 mil, you've got the risk of, on the blowback, that tangling somewhere around this part of the rig. So keep it to 5 mil. That still gives you plenty of movement on the blowback and on the mechanics or the natural movement of the rig on the bottom, but you've still got the advantage of the blowback. On the back lake, we are using a boilie approach. We're using 20 mil Scopex squids. That's all we're using, and the hook baits are being wrapped. Again, I'm preferring to go with the Fang X in a slightly, because we've got a larger diameter there, slightly larger size in the 4, and that is quite simply just fished knotless knotted with a piece of shrink tube over the eye there, just to extend it and neaten it all up with that is a half of a 15 mil pink pop-up over the top. I would normally have this on a slip D, to be honest, or if it was on a knotless knotted, I would have a longer hair there. I've not got that. I've got a shorter hair, and that's judging by what I'm seeing in the hook holds and how I'm envisaging that they're feeling on the bottom. I think that they're moving around with their lips quite close to the bottom, and a longer hair you might not hook them, just judging by the hook holds that I'm having. So it's quite, there's only 5 mil movement there, it's probably 5 to 10 mil movement there, which is quite short for me, but that's just sitting like that, and that will go up into the carp's mouth. And I'm casting that out on basically 9 inches. I will tie that direct to the leg clip on a grinner knot to offer up about 9-inch hook link there. Now, if there were nuisance species in there, I would not be using a knotless knot here. I would be using the slip D, but exactly the same presentation. Because if there were nuisance species in there, even though there's a knot embedded right in the middle of this 20 mil Scopex squid bait, if a bream or a nuisance species sucks at that top bait and blows real hard, barbel are very good at it, as are bream, they can blow this tight down against the hook and make it ineffective. As it happens, there aren't any nuisance species active in the back lake, so I'm able to get away with it like that. But I would rather have it on a slip D if there were any nuisance species, but effectively the same presentation. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Bit of putty halfway up, just to hold everything down. And yeah, we've had one bumped off on the take, which was definitely a small common, but otherwise probably about 95% land hook to landing ratio. There's probably one more thing to note, which I haven't mentioned, is that the carp are not fighting that well here. I say they're not fighting, they're still fighting hard, but compared with other places I've fished, they are not going on 50 to 100 yard runs. You're getting over the top of them, and it's a bit of a ploddy, dogged fight under the rod tip. If it was rock hard fights, I would probably be preferring to go with the claw, which is ever so slightly heavier gauge wire, certainly in the size 5, and it's just a stronger hook altogether. But for this trip, that's what I've ended up with, and that's what I'm happy with. Okay, so it's early afternoon, maybe 3 o'clock, something like that, and the boilie rods are producing not as much, but slightly bigger average size. We've got here, we could call him big scale. We've got a lovely mirror, probably, let's have a look at you. Yeah, my word, upper 20. Lovely. And just the other side. They're a grayer. These ones in the back lake, because it's silty and muddy, and the clarity is not as good. They're a grayer colour than the other one. Oh, you nearly got it. There you are, thank you very much. They've got that silty texture to their mouth where they've been feeding in the silt. And he took a liking to 20mm scopic squids. Lovely. Let's get that rod back out. It's definitely held its air, this 2.4 rib. Yeah, superb stuff. By tomorrow morning, I'm not really anticipating much more. You never know, but it's possible. In the 5 nights that we'll have done on the main lake, fishing static, which is not my forte, we'll have had 3 fish. We'd have had a 30-pounder and then the 47 and the 49. And given we're midsummer, those are very, very good weights for carp that will be a lot bigger come the autumn time. And then on the connected lake, although at this time of year the water level's that low that the carp can't actually pass through, so I think it's a bit of a lottery on what lake they're in. It's a much shallower silty lake, much smaller, and we've chucked a couple of rods in there, fishing purely boilies. That's another thing to note. The ones on this lake, because this lake has a reputation for producing a lot of big catfish, I've stuck purely with tiger nuts. And I genuinely don't think there's a high stock of carp in here. And I don't believe there have been many, even though the wind has pushed up this way. I think this is a relatively pressured area, and I don't think there are many carp up here. I'm virtually sure of that. The fish that I've caught was, you would not believe the amount of tiger nut in there. I think that was probably 2 rods worth of tiger nut here pooed out in the sack. They'd only been in the sack a few hours, so that to me suggests that that was one of very few up here feeding. So it's a big lake. You can see just how long it is, and then it goes around the corner and you've got another big section. So I don't think, under normal circumstances, now I've been here, now I've kind of got a feel for the place, I would probably fish a more mobile approach. But given I was being entertained on the back lake, which we'll come on to, it was worth sticking it out. And it was only on the first proper night that I had that absolutely amazing carp. So when you have one on the second night, that kind of tempts you to stay. So we've had the 3 fish on this side. On the other side, where we're fishing purely a boilie approach, spreading bait in probably a tennis court sized area, sticking a couple of rods on it, we've had a handful of small commons up to about 25, and then better fish wise, we had the low 30 that was at night. We've had the probably 26, 27 pound mirror with the 2 big scales on it today, and then we've had a 37 pound mirror and the 45 common. So yeah, that's 320 kilo fish for the 5-day session. Midsummer, 320 kilo fish is a very, very good return on anywhere. Beautiful evening. Fortunately, no more wind and rain. I say fortunately from a packing up perspective, unfortunately from a carping perspective. No surprise, it has quietened down since. Just the one fish today on the other lake, so it has quietened down since. For a first session on a new lake, which is a big lake, to come away with 3 over 20 kilo, I can't complain of that. Over and out.